My tablet.
I'm gonna go with that, Clark. All right. We'll call this meeting of April 21st, 2016 of the Holbrook School Committee to order. Would you all please rise and join us in the reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could remain standing, I just want to read a in memoriam to Dr. Gary W. Smothers. The Reverend Dr. Gary W. Smothers was a great oak in the town of Holbrook for over 20 years. With his recent passing, a great oak has fallen. Reverend Smothers, or simply the Rev, was the embodiment of the Winthrop Congregational Church during his tenure as minister there. He was in the community and visible to all. I can remember his tender words of comfort to an elderly woman at the loss of a friend. His kindness and caring were very evident. His sense of humor was somewhat unique, and I always believed harkened back to his Midwestern sensibilities. Gary was not afraid to leap into the civil fray. He served on our school committee from 1977 to 1980 and served as clerk and as chairman of the committee. The tasks facing the school committee in those days were tremendous as well as rewarding, and included a failed new junior high school building proposal, the changing demographics, and the appointment of a new superintendent, Superintendent McKay. On behalf of the entire school district, I wish to express and extend to Reverend Smothers' family our profoundest condolences during this period of mourning and loss. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. May he rest in peace. Our next order of business is under public participation, citizens' concerns. Are there any citizens wishing to make a statement? Seeing none, we'll move on to the reports. I think the students are taking a well-earned recess, so are not here to give us their committee report. And I will turn now to Dr. Lally for her superintendent report. Dr. Lally.
So tonight I have the building update, and I know that there are others who can chime in on this, but last night we had a building meeting where we talked about the value engineering and some of the things that we thought we would not be able to afford now that we are ahead of schedule and under budget. We are looking at some of the pieces that had to be taken out at the beginning. So it was a very productive meeting. There was also a proposal for a walking bridge from the JFK to the new school that is being looked at. And the sixth graders from the Civics Club, two of them, came to do a presentation about a peace pole, which is, they were inspired by Martin Richard, who was a victim in the marathon bombing, and his parents came out to the Student Government Day and spoke with the students, and they were very inspired that they wanted to do something that signified peace. And so they are looking at putting a peace pole at the new building. And the Permanent School Building Committee was said to come back with a design, and they were very willing to listen to this. And the big news for this week was the topping off ceremony. And thanks to Beth Tolson and Barbara Davis, we had a wonderfully planned event. And we had many people from the community come to the ceremony on Tuesday. But many others participated over the weekend by signing the beam. And now the beam, if people want to come by and look, the beam is placed in the center. It still has the tree and the flag up there. And it was a wonderful ceremony. And I think that the community is very proud of the building as it is moving along.
Would anyone else on the Permanent School Building Committee like to comment on the building?
Yeah, just two things. We talked about the water in irrigation 3 wells were fracked, but the decision was made by the committee to tap into the town water through MWRA, I think.
Tri-Town.
Tri-Town, I mean, yeah. So that was a big decision because they're getting ready to get the fields seeded. And the other thing that I raised last night, and I did want to mention again, is there is a group of alumni who are getting together with the idea of restoring the pennants and seeing if there are others that could be hung. And they'd like to work on making sure there's a place in the building, in the new building for those. So I raised that last night, and I'm going to go back to them and talk with them about what specifically their needs are. They talked about looking at trophies, maybe, you know, are there plaques with records on it that we want to make sure are displayed? Where will they be displayed? Will there be a separate area in the building? So we need more detail on that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that, at least if memory serves, that the gym itself will have similar rafters
Right.
that we can put up the banners. I mean, it would also be
Right.
a matter, do we want every single banner from the 60s, or do kind of a combined, you know, 60 to 68, you know, girls softball, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And do it that, and do that. But absolutely all the banners
Yeah.
need to be displayed, whether they're combined. And I'm guessing the older ones, that might not be a bad idea to combine them. And I think that discussion should involve the athletic director as well. And hopefully, as this building gets gone through, anything that's, you know, allegedly missing will turn up, and everything can be rededicated in the new building.
Well, it's interesting you say that because we'll have a report on the foundation subcommittee efforts, and a lot of towns have foundation space that they give in kind to foundations. Now, you know, one of the things, and we haven't explored it yet, and I was going to toss this out in new business, but I might as well say it here. I mean, one of the things when we're looking at, let's say, the JFK school, would that be a place to do, let's say, adult education, maybe have a school committee space, have a foundation space, and then have whatever excess space, maybe as some kind of mixed use type of thing, but still under the control of the schools, because it's primarily a school related building. I mean, those are the sorts of things we should look at, you know, as we move forward, I think we're going to have to start thinking about that as well, and maybe at the next meeting we'll have more of a appropriate, you know, motion on that to try to set that wheel in motion to look at, because we've got a lot of things happening. You know, that the building is coming up, the curriculum is growing. You know, if this foundation starts to take off, I mean, it's not anywhere near publicly to be discussed at this point, I think, from talking to the foundation folks. But, you know, that whenever they announce that, let's say it's 9 months from now, we will at least want to be in a position where we're ready to be able to respond if we can. So I think these are all valid, you know, issues, and look forward to working with our friends in the community as a whole to try to solve them. Do you have any other?
No, do you have anything to add to that, Trish? I think you both covered it.
I neglected to say congratulations to our two newly elected members to the school committee, John Flanagan and Elizabeth Tolson. I had intended tonight to reorganize, but unfortunately it didn't make the agenda, so just as an abundance of caution, we'll do it at our next meeting. But once again, congratulations. Okay, so financial update, Trish Lugo.
Yes. Actually, the budget is moving along within the limits as I see them. The salaries spent to date would be between 65 and 80%, depending on whether it's a 12-month staff member or a school year staff member. And if you look at the percentages in the expended columns, they're right in between that. So payroll's progressing fine, which means we budgeted exactly for all of the people and stipends, et cetera, as we intended them to be spent. And we should be right on target with spending the salary budget down to zero. And we also have the expense reports. And again, we're just looking to close out purchase orders, wrap up a few things, and the expense side of the budget will be, it really gets looked at with a fine-tooth comb from now to the end of the year to make sure that all invoices get paid, nothing gets missed, to make sure that everything is encumbered for whatever bill hasn't come in for. So we're watching that very carefully. So the budget's in line with what we should expect at this time.
So there's nothing untoward there that is coming out as a big concern or something that's way off base?
No, not at all.
Are there any questions about our current budget?
Looks good, thank you.
Well, okay, let's go on to our next item on the agenda, which is,
Skipping the next one.
discussion items. Budget
That was-
reduction
yeah, that's
proposal,
out.
we're gonna wait on
Yeah.
that, right? And also, we're gonna, let's talk about the Director of Technology job description. Would you like to discuss that, Dr. Lally?
Yes,
That's in everyone's
this is
packet there.
the job description that has been reviewed by the leadership team, and our current tech director, Woody Conrad, has looked it over, and everybody seems to be in agreement on these items. So we would like to post this job because Woody's going to be here, is retiring, and we need to have somebody who can take over because a lot of things need to be done at the end of the year that have to do with the state reporting. Plus, ongoing issues with internet and all of that. Woody handles everything himself. And we want to make sure that the new person has a chance to coordinate with Woody so that we would be able to have a seamless transition.
How much of this is different than, say, his job description?
I think he found it all to be pretty much in line with what he does.
I see.
Do you have a salary range that you're gonna post this? for?
Well, I think we're going to post it as, commensurate with experience and see what we get. Because probably will be lower than, bless you, than what Woody currently
Yeah.
makes. So,
Yeah.
we expect maybe
But
around
in that
75,
range.
possibly.
It's gotta be in that range, I would
Yeah.
imagine, yeah.
Bless you.
Okay.
I have a question about it.
Sure.
When I read through the list of responsibilities, overwhelmed by just reading it, and I imagine Woody is even more so. This seems like a job description for two positions.
Absolutely.
An information technology position and an educational technology position. Is there any possibility that it could be two less senior people, or?
Well, that's what we were hoping, that we'll see what we fill for this one, and then see if we can get a second person, which would be great, because the people who help with the Sims data for DESI are Bridget Baker and Kathy Franchi. So he does have that assistance, but he takes their input and then, has to do some more and submit it to the state. So that's a big job. And it would be great if we could have those two positions and, get somebody in at a lower price and then get another person in. So that would be our aim, if we could do that.
And another thought that crossed my mind, is it possible that some of our own students could intern at an assistant position? I'm sure we have some
Yeah,
pretty savvy, tech-savvy
I'm sure we do,
students who
yeah.
can help.
I think that'd be great, but we'd need someone to supervise. So I'd hope that if we could get this other person, that maybe that person could supervise those students, and because a lot of places do that. And they have like a tech center. So when we have our new school too, we'll need a place where whatever devices we're using.
Especially in the new school.
Yeah, exactly. We'll need some, and kids are, very great at that. The students will be able to help other students with some of the glitches that they're going through. Some of them might be technical, but some of them might just be replacing pieces.
Well, and I think that's a good point, that, curriculum development is important. Particularly when there's newer technology going to be involved in it. And, I don't know that this fellow's necessarily the person to be involved in that decision-making, but it's certainly a factor, going forward as an elective, or as you say, an internship, and that's a good point. Are there any other questions on this?
Well, I just had one additional question or comment about the expectation, and I think seems like something we might have discussed earlier on, and
It was called something different then, that's why we changed it to expectation.
yeah, but I also,
someone
so it is the
suggested it.
same description, but it almost seems like it needs to tie though into the informational technology piece, and it really seems like the expectation is they're a team member.
I think someone
But any
suggested that
effort-
here, that's why I changed it to that.
Oh,
Someone
I thought-
gave the
Oh, I
word
thought we had
expectation.
suggested, tying it into an IT position, so you could say this is what, in an effort, to ensure efficiency in, technology, IT, or whatever it is, but it's the expectation is to get along.
Well, I
and
think
work
it's to
together as a
support
team.
everybody, yeah, that's
What-
the
But
idea.
yeah, but just
Yeah.
put a qualifier there that it's IT related, to meet the IT needs of the administration.
Well, of everybody, the whole district, right,
The district.
yeah. Yeah, I think that when this was written by somebody, that they were talking about how it would be the district's needs, it would be enveloped in that, because it would be collaborating on, so I can't take credit for it, but I think that somebody here suggested the expectation, but we can put more in it,
I
or,
thought we actually suggested two. I'd have to go back, I thought because this is why I thought we had suggested two, that it should be an IT-related expectation. In
Well,
addition
it
to.
does
it
say,
used to
it does say on number 5, ensures that all the information technology plan goals are efficiently and effectively integrated into the mission and goals of the Holbrook School District.
yeah, these were the
Is that
job
covered, Nancy,
responsibilities.
or
Well,
you think
just
there
because,
should be
the
more?
overarching, I'm talking about the expectation
Yeah.
above is the overarching statement.
Right.
Yeah,
And that too is about working together as a team is below in one of the performance
Right,
responsibilities.
right. So you think
But
that
if
should
the
be up
overall,
there too?
I think that piece qualifies, you're working together in this team for that purpose.
To address district IT, is that how do you want to?
Which number were you?
That was
reading?
number
Oh, no, I'm
5.
saying on
The
expectation, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
so all of this, and then working as blah, 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 to address district,
Yeah, remember, I
Instructional
think,
technology.
yeah,
Yeah.
5 answers that too, if you want to read,
Yeah.
just,
Add 5 into the...
to ensure that IT
Sure.
plan goals are
Well,
effectively
yeah, there's nothing wrong with
integrated
that.
to
Yeah.
the mission and goals.
yeah, but I
of-
want that, I think you want that under responsibilities too, so they know that's a piece
Right.
of it, so we can
but could
put,
you have
But it's
it both?
put a piece.
Yeah.
Both that
Yeah, but if
and-
you wanna have both of the,
Yeah, you don't want it to be.
we're gonna have,
redundant.
yeah, we don't have, in two
Well,
places,
To
maybe
address
just,
the IT
just IT
of the
needs, and then
district.
leave that, district IT
Fine.
needs, and then go, and these are all the things that come under that.
Okay.
So that's kind of a general statement, and then you get the other pieces that go with it, or all these are all the job
This
responsibilities.
is not just IT, it's also student
Right.
information systems, personnel data,
Yeah.
financial system. Well, that's an interesting one on 14. I mean, how are they going to ensure all that with the soft right?
Well, yeah, but
They're the point
Woody
person,
does
in
that,
other
yeah,
words.
he's
They're
the one
point
who,
person, the soft right point person.
yeah, so if there's a glitch with it or whatever, he
Gotcha.
takes care
Okay,
of it.
good. Well, why not with that amendment? Would you like to make that amendment, Nancy?
Sure. Do you have that, Patty?
Yes,
Okay, so to accept the job description of the Director of Technology with the change to
Can you read
include
that
an
change out loud?
expectation.
Sure. So the sentence will read, "The Director of Technology is an active member of the administrative team and is an integral part of the development and continuity of an effective and collaborative team." To address doesn't sound good there.
To ensure,
Addresses.
to ensure, or-
To ensure, team, is an integral part of an active collaborative team, who will ensure the district's IT needs are met? Or, because I think we have to,
yeah, and I think you can wordsmith
Yeah.
it, but just in,
okay.
so it ties into the overall responsibilities.
Okay, would someone like to second that change?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion on it? All those in favor, as amended? It passes unanimously. All right. And we're now going to go to the school subcommittee member reports. Well, why don't we start with the foundation subcommittee? Nancy, would you like to make a report?
Sure, it's the Holbrook Education Foundation Committee is moving forward. We have a lot of work to do, and as Arthur remembered, we have a very aggressive schedule, and there's a lot to do, but we're hoping to, be able to do some sort of formal announcements in 9 to 12 months, but there's a lot that needs to happen from now until then, including, identifying our mission and creating bylaws and a 5-year plan and registering with the state and the Secretary of State. And so there's a lot of things that need to happen. Of
Yeah.
course, identify the board. And we are having our next meeting, which I'll give this information to Bridget to post on May 18th at 7 p.m.
Well, that's the town meeting, I think, so.
No,
right?
that's
No,
May
it's the
11th.
Oh, it's May 11th?
Yeah.
Town meeting's May 11th,
Yeah.
great.
May
18th,
18th,
great.
yep,
Good.
7 p.m.
Excellent.
And that meeting will be posted. We had a great conversation with actually Arthur's.
Georgia Antonopoulos.
Yeah, Arthur's niece, who has spent a lot of years in the Newton Foundation, is it?
Newton Schools, and she was then at Stonehill running their nonprofit center, and then a boys, South Bay Boys Club in San Francisco. We had a conference called to San Francisco, actually. But I want to emphasize, this is a private group. That's not going to be generated by our school committee, so the "we" there is not us, actually. It's a private group of people.
The foundation will be separate and
And
distinct from
totally
the school
separate.
community.
But she was very helpful, talking about what some of the things that, like, for example, in Newton, they did have an in-kind contribution of giving the foundation space, how they collaborate, and actually one of the things, as they're working on the mission, the foundation people wanted to see what the school's goals were for maybe the next, 5 years, so they could get a sense of maybe seeing how their foundation would track, some of that in addition to some of the other items. So it's an interesting conversation, and it's kind of in the silent, even though we're saying all this now, it's a silent part of it where they're going to be working on it, and I don't think they're going to make any announcements for 9 months anyway, but
It's going to take that long to.
it's going to take that
Yeah.
long. There's progress going on anyway. We also, Beth, would you like to talk about the policy subcommittee a little bit?
Yeah, so MASC has just come out with 5 new policies or updated policies related to the recent legislation on opiate. So we're just looking at those now. We're gonna have our attorney look at them as well, and then, share them with the committee, have the superintendent review them, and see which, where we're gonna go from here. But they just came out, so.
So some of the proposals actually that are in these new laws, we had tracked in our previous, some of our previous policies that were mentioned in this statement. But on the opiate in particular, we're gonna look at, a suggested new policy along the lines of the statutes. Are there any questions on that? Are there any other subcommittees that would like to make a report?
No, but school committee members report.
Yes, I
is
think we should
not
do
on
that.
here.
That, I understand. We'll take the risk and let's say it, all right?
All right, I'll go. The musical was awesome per usual. Students did a great job in spite of the flood on the stage that occurred on multiple occasions. Thank goodness we have a new school coming. I also attended the STEAM night at the South School, Diane Aberle's and Joanne Sims' retirement party. National Honor Society induction, which was the night of the foundation meeting. And I would like to congratulate the following new National Honor Society inductees. And just as a reminder, they've all met the national standards as far as volunteerism and grades and et cetera. So the new inductees who will replace a rather large group that is graduating next month or the month after are Elisa de Carvalho, Rafaela Desiree, Christian Esperon, Christopher Greeley, Noah Hobart, Rachel McBride, Matthew Mullen, Wyatt Sprague, Katerina Wilmoth, Melanie Delgado, Kaja Difan, Aaron Von Kadragalan, Declan Hills, Wayne Lounge, Jaden McAvoy, Devin Signorine, and Jonathan Valeros. So congratulations
Yeah.
to them. The seniors are leaving some really big shoes to fill. I also played in and survived the annual 6th grade volleyball game. And saw parts of a couple baseball and softball games. On Tuesday after the topping off, there was a boys game and a girls game. Those were makeup games, and the boys lost and the girls won. And just upcoming, the MASC Day on the Hill is next Tuesday. And Holbrook Day at the State House, where they will add the town flag to the Hall of Flags, is Wednesday, May 4th. And just if I could make a request that if we could get the information for our meetings in the packet and not in dribs and drabs over the course of the week. Some of us need the weekend to go over agenda items, and getting things the day before just makes it difficult to download and process it. You
So
know,
noted,
it happens on occasion, but it's been happening more regularly.
so noted.
It's just hard.
I think
So
that's
I
fair to
appreciate
say,
it.
and it's not been unnoticed by the chair as well, so it's
Thank you,
That's
I
a good
appreciate
point.
it.
okay. We're now gonna turn to the action items, and I would ask Dr. Lally, you presented us with a couple of options here.
Right.
To please explain what the options are and what your recommendation is as to those options.
We have two options for a school calendar here, and the first one is the recommended one, because this one gives us a professional day for the teachers on election day. Because we expect a big turnout here for the elections, we think it's advisable to have the students not on school property that day. And so we will have a professional development day then, and one at the beginning of school instead of the usual 2 at the beginning of school. So that way we can facilitate the elections. I've talked to the union president, so she's amenable to the start time, which would be the 26th of August for teachers and the 29th of August for students. So we'll have one professional development day there before school starts, and one on November 8th, Election Day. So that is the recommended one, but we could do, if you look at option 2, that's just the same thing, both the 2 professional development days up front, as it usually is, and school on November 8th.
And not November, you mean?
I'm sorry, and having school on November 8th.
On election day.
Oh, on election day?
Yes.
Yes, election day.
Yes.
I see. But you have some differences in August as well, don't you?
Well, because that day then would roll back, because we would be having, if you
I
had
see.
school on that day, we would go
I see.
longer.
Well,
I'm sorry, we
do
go,
you, and also I
Sure.
noticed in June, there are the different dates on the development days, is that what that is? The circles, is it?
Last day.
The last
That's
days?
the last
yeah,
Those are the last
that's for
days.
seniors, that one,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, now, do you have a recommendation as to option one or option two, Dr. Lally?
I would recommend option one.
Okay, now we'll take some comments. Does anyone have any comments? Yes. School committee.
The only
Member Davis.
concern, and I definitely agree that school needs to be closed on election day. That we shouldn't be entertaining any kind of motion to have school open that day in November. My only concern is, and perhaps it's an unfounded concern, is having the teachers come back on a Friday.
Well, that's
As
for,
opposed to-
yeah,
Well, I know, I
Yeah.
understand that, but as opposed to the Monday.
well, that's when students come back.
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is-
well,
is having them-
I talked to the union, they seemed to think it was okay, so.
It's
you know,
okay
they-
with me, I mean, I don't have a
Well, I
problem.
mean, yeah, I mean, I don't care one way or the other, I'm just thinking, you know,
Mhm.
having everybody come back on a Friday and then.
Yeah, and I asked that question, but they were okay with it.
All right, any other comments?
They're okay then.
Is there any issue with school, the last day of school being a Monday?
It may not be when snow comes in.
No,
and
but
everything
if
else.
it is a Monday, is that,
Yeah, it'll
and
be a little
it used to be
Yeah.
something in the contract about that,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Is there
think
something
so.
in the
You
contract?
don't think so? Years ago there was, so I'm just,
I don't know, I've had that in
Yeah,
different places
yeah,
I've been where
okay.
whatever it comes out,
Had the
it
union
comes
agree
out.
with that too? Did you
Yeah,
talk to
well, they've agreed to the calendar.
them? Okay,
okay.
all right.
Well, that's, it could potentially, even with the other calendar, it could potentially end on a Monday.
It could.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
yeah, you
course.
never know how it's gonna
Yeah.
turn out.
In fact, when
Well, all
are
right.
we, when are we ending this year? Is it on a Monday?
No, it's, we need to.
I think it was going to be, wasn't it?
Probably,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Because it
it's a
snows.
Thursday.
Yeah.
All right, does anyone want to make a motion as to accept Dr. Lally's recommendation of option one for the school calendar year?
So moved.
Any second?
Second?
All right, any further discussion of this? Take a vote. All those in favor? That passes unanimously.
And may I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Last day,
The last day of
Yeah.
school
should be the
needs to be
6th.
set?
Right.
I know, but we need
Do
to.
you wanna vote it
actually
next
on
time, or?
I don't know, I know that there's been buzz and people are trying to plan,
Do you have a date?
summertime.
I think it's the 16th.
All right, why don't you confirm that? We'll do it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that
It's written-
is correct.
Its calendar is on the agenda, we can do it. Um,
How many snow days have there been this year?
3.
3, I think it would be the 6th.
Yeah.
Dr. Lally.
Yes, let me just put those glasses on again.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we were gonna end on a Monday this year,
Yeah.
which is the 13th.
Yeah,
And so now that'll push us out to the 16th.
okay.
Okay. Would anyone like to make a motion that the end of the school is Monday, June?
No,
No,
Thursday,
no.
June.
Thursday,
16th.
June.
Thursday, June 16th.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? That passes unanimously. Now we're going to turn to the charms status, and I would ask Dr. Lally to explain the charm status, and then we're going to have a motion based on her explanation.
Charms Collaborative has been having difficulties with enrollment, I think, for a number of years. But right now, we are at a low, lower than other years in the past. So next year, it looks like with some students aging out, that it's going to be bordering on, it could possibly be a situation where kids will be still getting a good education, but it will not be cost effective. And they may need to be other options that are looked at. So what the board would like to do is investigate other options. One of them being the dissolution of Charms, but also there are mergers that could happen, and somebody else could take over Charms and make it more profitable. So we would like to investigate that. And students will be taken care of. It doesn't, it's not going to mean that the students who are at Charms will not be educated. We will get them into a different collaborative, or they will, if it merges, they'll just stay where they are and they will take it over. So, but we need to investigate these options. We need to have a vote from the school committee.
Now, apparently, the attorney for Chimes has said that the only way they can investigate it is to actually make a motion to initiate proceedings to terminate, and then there's a long convoluted process, and that will take care of all these options. So by that word, that just gets the ball rolling, as far as I understand it, to
Right.
investigate it.
Exactly.
So I would make the following motion, that the Holbrook School District request that the Chimes Collaborative Board initiate proceedings to terminate the Chimes Collaborative Agreement in accordance with the provisions of said agreement and in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40, Section 4E, and CMR Regulations 603 CMR 50.00. Is there a second to that? Okay, any discussion?
I have a question. Do we have an idea of the reasons for the declining enrollment?
Well, most of the member schools do not have many or any in the collaborative, and they're trying to, the director is trying to drum up business, but it's really, it hasn't, I think the locations are difficult right now for the different programs, and where they're located is, one of them is at the Y in Stoughton, which is a very nice facility, but it's not in a school. So I think that is a problem with attracting students to that location. And then there's another multi-skill situation in another school that, is the thriving program. But it still doesn't have enough students. It doesn't attract enough students. And I'm not sure if it's a PR situation or, so we've talked about, what can be done to maybe enlist some more students. But, I know it's very difficult, and the director has had some referrals. Some, only a couple panned out this year, so that made it, it's going to be difficult to sustain the quality if we don't get more students in there. They also have looked at other pieces to, which, other collaboratives traditionally do, such as professional development, transportation, all of that. But there's a market there already for that, so I don't think that they're really getting into that too easily, and it hasn't made it flourish.
So in part, it's a mixture of the communities that are in it and some of the offerings that they have that are not making it attractive,
Right.
apparently.
Yeah, and that's, so hopefully, there'll be new ways of boosting the enrollment, but at the moment, we just want to make sure that we're doing what's right for the districts and for the students, and making sure that it's, viable.
And there may well be alternative collaboratives that are a better
Right.
fit, given the conditions. So,
Right.
But
you
this
know,
is all stuff that you'll
But-
look into.
Right,
yeah.
and, it could turn around, it could be merged, it could be taken over, so there are some really good possibilities, but, to be...
And I have to say, Dr. Lally didn't point it out, but there's an elaborate process. This is not a simple process. There's numerous, myriad, and rightfully so, factors that are going to go into this. So this simply gives the board, and by that board I mean the Chimes board, the ability to start exploring those options. So, and they could, decide not to do it. So, I mean, that's... This is not going to be something like parents whose children are in the collaborative right now need not be concerned.
Right, yes, that's definitely, those children will be taken care of no matter what.
Interesting. Well, all right, and now we come to another,
Mr.
yes.
Chair, I don't think we took that vote.
We didn't, did we?
Oh.
We moved, so we first and seconded, but we didn't vote. All right, no further discussion? All those in favor? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Flanagan.
You're welcome.
So, the next status is the March 31st, 2016 school committee minutes. Were those revised at all? I suggested a revision.
I don't think,
Do you have that? Okay. There was an omission of the president of Holbrook Cares, and I just wanted to put a line in about her, that she had spoken and was, pleased to work with Dr. DeMello. As you may recall, and it was just a coincidence, I didn't know that they were coming to this meeting, but in the fruits of our own labors, we had, Dr. DeMello had written a letter to us stating that she was going to be working with them, and they happened to come, so it was a fortuitous moment, and I just wanted to recognize her as president of the Holbrook Cares as having spoken, and with that, I'll leave that to Bridget, the discretion of that, if that's all right with the board, to include her name, and that she was going to work with Dr. DeMello. Look forward to working with Dr. DeMello. If someone would make a motion with that amendment in it to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Any second on it?
Second.
All right, is there any further discussion on it? All right, we'll take a vote on the minutes as amended. All those in favor? Okay, so that has been taken care of, and let's see, new business, is there any new business? Is there any old business?
Just like to make an announcement that, just to remind folks that the Memorial Day Parade will be on Memorial Day, and that Mr. Flanagan here is spearheading the second annual road race.
Right.
And so just to
It's true.
encourage people to sign up for that road race.
Yeah, and people can enroll in the run on racewire.com. Holbrook Memorial Day 5K run. We remember 5K run, so go ahead and do that.
Also, are you gonna be marching?
Going to be,
You gonna be
first I'm
around?
going to be running,
You're gonna be
and
running?
then I'm going to be marching.
Okay, good. So the school committee will be out in force, hopefully with the rest of the school district, to the degree that we can be. We hope that everyone has a very solemn Memorial Day. It's always a time to remember the dead, and sometimes the best celebration of that is to celebrate those that are alive because of the fruits of those that gave their lives. There'll always be a little sorrow for me on that day, but I'm sure that's I'm not the only person who feels that way. If there's no further business, I would entertain a motion. Oh, well, there is one, actually, one final business, new business. When is our next regularly scheduled school committee
May
meeting?
12th,
May 12th, and the town meeting
May
is?
11th.
I think we should have a special meeting scheduled just in case
Well,
we need it. We may not need it.
We can just plan on meeting before town meeting,
Right,
as
but,
has been our general practice.
right, but
To go
so,
over any last minute
right, so,
details.
well, I'm trying to remember when we typically did that. Was that around 5 or so?
5:30, was it?
5:30 here? So if we could post that,
Wait
a
one
special
second.
meeting.
Oh wait, that might be a problem.
Why?
We have the,
Yeah, why did we schedule that before town meeting?
I know,
Well,
I
we can
said
meet
we-
at 6,
I guess it
or
won't
we
have time.
can,
we can meet at 5:30. Their meeting's at 4:30.
right.
Mm.
So 5:30?
5:30 would be fine.
All right,
Why don't we schedule that for
the 11th.
the 11th?
Okay.
Do you think we'll need more than an hour, Patty? If so, we
I
can.
don't believe
we
so.
No, I
can-
think we'll do
Maybe
it.
we can do it, meet at 4 instead.
No, because then we usually try and bounce over to FinCom
Right.
if that's an issue
Mhm.
that,
Well, I'm sure they
needs
could
to-
come earlier if you want.
Right, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
we can, right, push our meeting up
If you
to
can,
4.
if you two can come.
Yes, I can
yeah.
do that.
probably because I don't need to work.
Well, I would prefer to do it at 5:30.
No, we're talking
No, we're talking about the
we have a-
negotiations.
We have a little bit of a conflict, so.
Oh, I see, I
So we're
see.
looking to push up our meeting
Okay, I got you.
to 4, and so we'll be
Yeah,
available
I-
for the school committee meeting at 5:30.
5:30, excellent.
have-
Okay,
Mhm.
so
And
why don't
Is
we?
this to replace the meeting on the?
No,
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 okay, this
because
is in
this
addition.
has been
Yeah,
addition.
Yeah,
This is a, definitely an addition.
yeah.
So we will have a special meeting before the town meeting, and then we'll have our regular school committee meeting on the 12th. Would someone like to make a motion to have that special Now meeting at 5:39, second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, so with that having been said, I would be more than pleased to entertain another form of motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? This meeting is adjourned.
Great, thank you.